You said when you started out your business model, you didn't project that your growth would be as exponential as it was.
Yes.
What made you, looking back now, what do you think made you shortchange yourself?
So, this is actually a point I didn't make, so I'm very happy you asked the question. The question was, we did 600% our year one goal in 2013, and why was my goal so low, essentially? And, or why did I not think we could have, why did I not have that goal set to do what we did? And, you know, 2015, 2016 put me personally, married, at that moment in time I had a 1-year-old son. It put me into a really weird place, almost a depression. I had this business, it was probably a depression, I didn't see a doctor though. I had this business that is tracking $25 million in revenue. I've got 150 employees. I'm married, I've got the most beautiful son in the world. I have a happy marriage, everything's great, and I just feel empty, right? So I started studying a lot of neuroscience. I started studying patterns. I started studying psychology, how I could have everything I ever associated with being successful. Tons of press articles, tons of movies, tons of TV shows, TV interviews. Everything that I ever identified with success growing up, I got all of it, and I felt empty. You know, I didn't really feel happy at all. And it took me out of my business for a little bit. And when I started all that studying, what I started learning a lot was about the way your brain works and the way your neural associative conditions work and your conditioning and your habits and your emotions. And if I can sum that up into a couple sentences, is that you don't realize it, but your life experiences shape your perception. And when they shape your perception, you've got two minds. You've got your conscious mind, which you're aware of. It's what keeps you alive. It's the fight or flight. And you've got your subconscious mind, which records 24/7, even when you're sleeping. It records everything that's going on around you. No matter what it is, it doesn't have any emotion tied to it because that comes from the conscious mind. But your subconscious mind records everything and basically files it away. And it's where your reactions to your habits and your memories come from. And so as that subconscious mind is recording everything around you, it's also shaping what you think is possible. And my experience at that moment in time was with a company that had been, when I started with them in 2006, they'd been open for about 10 years, and all they did was $434,000 in revenue the first year I started. And by the time I left 5 years later, I helped grow it to $2.5 million, but that had taken 5 years. So when I made that year one business plan goal to do $400,000, it's because what I was used to. It's because my first year in business with them, that's what we had done. That's what I thought a business that knew what it was doing could grow to in 1 year. You know, I wasn't starting a shoe company in Orlando. I was doing what the world had told me was the limitation of that industry for my first year in business. And so when I made that year one goal, 400,000, at the moment, I thought that, like, when I recruited this informal board of advisors, just this super successful group of business people, big in the community, when I presented that $400,000 goal to them as a business plan, they thought I was crazy. They said, that's a crazy first year goal. Even if you'll never get there, you should set a more realistic goal. But I had one of them, it was interesting, a local businessman, said, even if you fall halfway there, it's a great first year. And I really liked that mindset because it really paralleled me. Even if we didn't do $400,000 in revenue, with that as being the goal, we would have done $250,000, and it would have been a great first year. But then, as we started the business with that $400,000 goal, I put up on a board in my home office $33,333 a month, right? And so we started taking actions to hit those goals. And as we said, we did 10,000. Our first month of business, we did 71,000. But every day that month, I was saying, how do we add more value? How do we improve the professional landscape? When a customer goes to call an AC guy, what does that world look like? Let me map myself through the customer experience. That would provide more value. So I don't really feel like I shortchanged myself today. We chuckle about it, right? It's a funny thing. But my perception shaped what I thought was possible. And today, you know, I can tell you to just don't put limits on yourself. You know, have goals, because goals keep you anchored. And you take, again, another relationship I had to learn about it was relationship with goals. One of the biggest problems I ever had with goals is if I set it out to be a 1-year goal and I achieved it 6 months in, that left me feeling empty. That left me wanting more. And where it would have been different for me is that if I had been aware of the daily actions I was taking towards achieving that goal, so I want to sell 1,000, I want to sign up 1,000 customers, right? And for me to sign up 1,000 customers, my daily action, I need to understand customers, right? So if I'm going to understand customers, which are people, that taking you through my mindset, right? Taking daily actions to achieve that goal, then I'm going to understand how to win friends and influence people. One of the biggest books that shaped my entire focus, Dale Carnegie. If you haven't read it, read it. It's huge. How to Win Friends and Influence People. First people book I read. And so I need to understand people, so I read this book, right? So I wake up tomorrow and I'm a completely different person than I was yesterday. So I don't want to sign up 1,000 people. Now I know what's important to them. I want to sign up 5,000, right? So now I start taking daily actions to sign up 5,000 people. So how many people am I going to have to go meet with to sign up 5,000? Well, I'm going to have to meet with 5,000 individual people, or maybe I'm going to have to meet with 10 organizations of 500 people, and so et cetera. So as you set your goal as your anchor and you take daily action and reevaluate daily, weekly, you end up with bigger goals. You end up becoming a different person. You end up becoming a person that's more driven, that's more focused, that's more aware, and the universe just kind of comes in. So, your perception shapes what your limits are. And as long as you say, you know what, ignore my perception, no matter what your goal is, you write your goal down. I want to wake up December 31st, 2017, and this be my goal. You take daily actions towards that goal. Well, then as you go to reevaluate a week later, when those daily actions were big to hit that goal, then you become a new person. You end up setting a bigger goal. It's really amazing.